Today, let me cover what we need to learn to build a full stack web application so that we can post our projects in a resume. Okay, so in full stack development, we have two parts: front end and back end. Okay, in front end, we have HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React. Okay, so in front end web development, we have HTML, we have CSS, and JavaScript. Okay, and we can learn a framework to have more responsive and creative front end designs. Okay, so uh, before learning a framework, what we the prerequisites are HTML, CSS, and vanilla JavaScript. Okay, let me share you what we need to learn from HTML and CSS. In HTML, we need to learn the basic tags. Okay, basic tags can be header tags, paragraph tags, and image tags. How to give links to other tags using anchor tags, and we have to learn some uh, attributes like hyper reference, short for href, and we also need to learn some semantic tags. Okay, so when we browse the internet, what happens is each and every website gets ranked using an algorithm, right? So the algorithm searches for the best design in design of a website. So what defines a best design is that we use proper uh, semantic tags or not. Semantic tags are nothing but dividing our web page in such a way that we have a header tab separately, we have a navigation tab, we have a section, we have a footer, and it goes on. Okay, so that is there in HTML, and in CSS, uh, what we need to learn is properties. So these properties can be used for positioning. Okay, like texting, uh, aligning the text in the center, on the left, right, and how to give color, how to give fonts, and so on. And other topic is box model. So when we learn box model, we can position our images and our entire web page in such a way that uh, we can give the proper dimensions to the web page. Okay, what I mean by that is we can give padding, we can give width and height, and we can give the margin so that we can properly display the way we want. And then we have a flexbox. Flexbox is like a abstraction so that uh, we can use quickly how to position the elements. Okay, and we have grids and we have custom properties. And later, when we learned HTML and CSS, we have to learn some responsive layouts. Responsive layout means if we create a website for our laptop screen, it should also work for mobile also. It should also work for iPad. It should also work for bigger screen. Okay, so for that we make use of media queries. Okay, and REM units. REM units are nothing but it will be relative to the root element. Okay, so what happens is when we open our say website in our mobile, we may see the font in somewhat smaller or very big. This happens due to some poor CSS styling. So REM units are used in such a way that for each and every screen size, will have the correct units to be specified. Okay, and we have mobile first approach. Mobile first approach is nothing but how much ever you try to decrease the screen size, it should work correctly. Okay, so that's what we discuss. And browser dev tools. Browser dev tools are nothing but we have a Chrome developer tools, right? Using that, what we can do is we can inspect a given website. Let me show you one example. Okay, so if we press Control plus Shift plus I, this tabs open, right? Elements tab. So when we click this icon and we can see clearly how it is positioned. So this is the box model. We have padding, we have the length and height and border and margin. Margin is outside the image. Okay, so this also we need to get practice. And later, uh, we have covered HTML and CSS, right? Later we need to learn vanilla JavaScript. Vanilla JavaScript is nothing but plain JavaScript where we use nothing other than no frameworks, no libraries. Okay, so the topics we need to cover in vanilla JavaScript are uh, data types, functions, conditional loops. Just like in any programming language, we learn the basic syntax and semantics. Okay, and we need to learn about DOM manipulations and events. DOM manipulation is nothing but this will give responsiveness to the website. When we click a button, when we get alert notifications, when we submit a form, whatever is manipulated in that website, we can use JavaScript to handle this one. Okay, then we have page API and JSON to connect with the backend, and we have ES6 features. ES6 features ES is, let me tell you what is ES. ES is nothing but ECMAScript. ECMAScript is the standard used by uh, all around the world so that everyone's code follows a set of rules. Okay, so the ECMAScript is nothing but JavaScript which are used interchangeably. Okay, so ECMAScript version 6 they released a major amount of updates. Okay, so from those updates we need to learn arrow functions. Okay, it will be like a short form of a function, we can use it quickly. We have promises, we have async and await, and we have destructuring, and we have template string. Promises and async and await, we'll use it in the backend. Okay, and destructuring and template strings are nothing but to decrease the lines of code. We have some certain functionalities in ECMAScript version 6 and above. Okay, so this is vanilla script. Before any frameworks, we need to learn all of these topics. Okay, and the important thing is within vanilla JavaScript, what we learned till now, HTML, CSS, and vanilla JavaScript, we can build really good front-end web applications. Okay, and if we want to post it on GitHub, we can directly use GitHub pages. Okay, so at first, when we don't have any database to store some user information, we can use static hosting like provided by Netlify, Gatsby. So what they do is they give us a limited amount of memory, so in such a way that we can host it over that without backend. Okay, and mainly we can focus on GitHub pages. GitHub pages, we just need some HTML, CSS, and JavaScript code, and I will directly host it in the GitHub with some URL along with our profile. So later we need to learn Git and GitHub. Okay, GitHub are important version control systems that a developer needs. Okay, and other than that, we need to learn basic command line commands. Okay, so from that, one is Git, one is navigation. Navigation is like uh, just using the command line, how we can change from directories, how we can create a file, how we can delete a file. So these basic commands we need to know. After that, there is npm. Npm is nothing but node package manager. Okay, so if we want to learn a library in backend where we can implement JavaScript, we can use Node.js. Okay, so for Node.js, we have a node package manager where anyone like you and me can post post a package and everyone can use it. Okay, so there are set of commands to download that package. So we need to learn the basic commands. After that, there are APIs and REST. These two concepts are important so that we'll understand what is going underneath the hood. Underneath the hood, like other than HTML is in JavaScript, what is happening at the backend, how it is connecting with the backend. So this will be helpful for us to understand that. Okay, and CSS, SAS is like a library. Okay, SAS is like a library, which is also known as CSS with superpowers. Why? Because it will have some advanced features, so advanced styling and so on. So if we want to develop a really a good design in our website, we can use SAS. Okay, and these are the frameworks. Once we learn an HTML and CSS, we can use Bootstrap. Bootstrap is nothing but a CSS framework where the code will be readily available for us. We want to implement a button, and you don't want to waste your time. Okay, within few lines of code, you can implement a set of predefined code. Okay, in that we can through that we can use forms, we can use buttons, we can use navigation tab, we can use codes in such a way that it will also work for other devices. Okay, so in that case, Bootstrap will be really helpful. Okay, and for front end, uh, this is React, this is Vue.js, this is AngularJS. Okay, so these are the popular frameworks. So that for front end. Okay, and we'll focus on React, because React is the number one uh, most loved language, also most used library uh, according to Stack Overflow. Okay, Stack Overflow is nothing but a platform where they post questions and answers, where developers like us will use a lot. Okay, and for backend, we have Node.js. Node.js is a back backend runtime where we can implement a server using just JavaScript. Okay, and we also have Python. In Python, we have frameworks like Django and Flask. So we will focus on React and Node. Okay, so as you can see, according to Stack Overflow, questions per month on the y-axis, and the year from 2019 way back to 2009. JavaScript is the white line here. It has become really famous from time to time, as JavaScript can be used everywhere, because JavaScript can be not only used in front end development, it can be also used by backend, as we have discussed the Node.js, right? You can also use JavaScript for mobile development. There is a framework or some technology called React Native. Okay, React Native can be used to develop mobile native applications, and we also have JavaScript which can be used in desktop applications. Okay, so let me show this one. We can create desktop application using Electron framework. Okay. Other than that, we also have a native script and Ionic, which can be used for mobile app development. So when we learn JavaScript, it will be really helpful. Okay, we can explore every other domain where JavaScript is used. Okay, so other than HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Bootstrap, React, Node.js, uh, we can focus on the trends for 2020. Okay, for trends for 2020, we have AI, right? AI chatbot, Python, TensorFlow. TensorFlow is also available for JavaScript as a library, and we have interactive design, motion UI, UI UX that is famous, and progressive webs. Progressive web apps is like Bootstrap. We can use it for more responsive design, and TypeScript. TypeScript is nothing but another uh, programming language similar to JavaScript, where it is statically typed. I guess we also have GraphQL. So I think we have covered till this one, right? And for the database, we learn PostgreSQL. PostgreSQL is a popular back backend database used by developers around the world. Okay, Postgre. Let's see. Most advanced open source database. It is similar to Oracle or MySQL only. Why it is famous is because it is free and open source. Free and open source. Whereas Oracle, we will have some certifications, right? We have some uh, what to say licenses. We don't need that in PostgreSQL, and it is used a lot in by developers around the world. Okay, so other than PostgreSQL, there's also uh, MongoDB. Okay, in PostgreSQL, we will write the same code what we wrote in MySQL or Oracle SQL. Whereas in PostgreSQL, in MongoDB, we'll not at all use SQL. It is known as NoSQL database, where data will be stored in the form of JSON. JSON is like a string format. Let me show you. JSON is used in front-end to back-end communications. Right, it is full form for JavaScript object notation. Okay, so as you can see, it's a lightweight data interchange format. It is easy to read. Okay, so MongoDB does not use entirely JSON. It uses some with some modifications. Okay, as you can see one example. This just yeah. These are the examples. This is how data will be stored in the form of JSON, right? So MongoDB implements that JSON. So that's also another library, Express.js. Okay, Express.js is used to is another library which is used to reduce our time only. Why? Because with only Node.js, if we want to write code to connect with backend, front end as well as database, we need to write a lot of lines of code. Okay, so this lines of code will be same for every project. So in order to save time and memory, we can directly use Express library and implement those connections, right? So this is what we need to learn. Okay, we'll learn it one by one from basics. That's all for today.